Hey guys, today's episode, I'm going to talk about a game that may make me recant one of my strongest stances that I hate Villainous. Star Wars Villainous is coming soon.
MEEPLE Meetup means we had a lot of games played.
The Illiterati are watching you.
That checks out. I can't argue that. And Dead by Daylight is finally getting a board game. I've talked about this for a very long time. I'm very excited. I'm hoping it works out.
And we barely talk about Elden Ring. We'll see you there. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Spencer.
I'm Dan.
This is the Board Game Rundown. Today is our news show. So we're going to talk about some news and crowdfunding. But first, we're going to talk about games we played. And before that, Bob, what should everybody do?
Like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, do all those things you do for YouTube to get the word out there. Because why, Dan?
Algorithm, math stuff.
Yeah. Well, plus Dan likes to talk about things that are going to come out that are due the day after this release.
That's true.
So. Yeah.
That's why it's important, is
Yeah.
because, when we talk about these Kickstarters, we try to be
sensitive.
aware of the time
Yeah.
sensitivity, but
I will say, actually, though, last night I saw a Kickstarter that people were probably going to be interested in that we clearly weren't going to be able to talk about. So I just shared it on our Discord, and I was like, hey, guys, check this out. So
so you mean if they're on the
The
Discord?
You get information that you might not get on the show.
That's true. Like, just trying to help people out. I'm just being like, oh, this ends in 2 days. That ain't going to work. Hey,
Right.
guys, check this out if you're interested.
Yeah. Plus, we had an opportunity where people could play test games that was shared, and we were sharing that in our Discord as well. So if you're interested in doing that, you can get on there to get that kind of information.
Like real games, not our games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no, like
games.
Grand
It was a
Gamers
Grand
Guild.
Gamers Guild,
Not
so
yet.
it's
Yeah.
legit.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So legit games,
Yeah.
not just whatever drivel that Dan and I
Yeah.
conspiring to make.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, guys. So games we played
Played quite a bit.
since last time.
I played a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a little MEEPLE meetup in there, so that always
Right
lends
before the
itself
show
to-
started, I said I barely played it.
And then you're like, oh wait,
Oh wait, I
played
did play
a
a
bunch.
bunch. Yeah.
All right, who's starting us off? Bob.
Sure. Yeah.
You
I'll-
usually have a big list.
I got it. Thank you. I played the Rick and Morty deck builder game. Right. So
Okay.
it's a Cryptozoic.
Total Recall, or is that a different one?
No, I think it's a different one. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it's just the Rick and Morty deck builder game.
Okay.
But yeah, it plays a lot like DC, right? Where you've got your
Yep.
your Rick with a superpower, and you're buying other Ricks and Mortys and doing shenanigans.
Like a
You got a
multi-dimension
portal gun.
thing.
Yeah, because you got a
That's
portal
right.
gun. You can
That's
get
Rick versus
locations.
Morty.
They pop up each
I
time and they
know,
go away.
yeah,
And
Morty.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's not quite as good as the Into the Echo side, but it's
Checks
pretty,
out.
It's pretty
Well.
good. That's a tough one to beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
But then I borrowed the that Mob Big Apple.
Yes.
From you guys. I really enjoy that. It's a great little two-player area control dice rolling game.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
fun.
telling you
And I
it's
couldn't
good.
believe that the copy that you gave me is not the deluxe.
That's the retail.
yeah, it's still beautiful. Like gold inlays, nice little wooden meeples. The only
It's-
thing it's lacking is the poker chips, really.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're fine. But
No, yeah, they do the job.
They do the job.
But when you have the actual poker chips, you're like,
They're
oh, these are
yeah,
really
clank,
nice.
clank. But then you're just gonna put them out. They're gonna sit there.
Yeah.
You know, so you
Also
don't really
true.
get to play
You
with
don't
them.
do you can move them around a little bit.
A little
by
bit, yeah,
taking the
sure.
one action,
But you don't
right.
get to sit there and.
Yeah. Splash the pot.
Yeah, that's right. I splashed. them.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you're enjoying that. That's a good. I really like that game. I'm looking forward to us getting a review of it done.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you
Sweet.
enjoyed that.
All right.
Just throw it to
Justin?
somebody else.
Sure. I got to play a game with my daughter, Outfoxed.
Oh, I love
yeah.
Outfox.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Guess Who,
Mm-hmm.
kinda, where there's a fox on the board who's trying to escape, and you go around the board trying to get the clues. There's this cool little device where the clues they all have a little gap in them. It's a little token with a little gap, and you put it in this little device, and then you pull something out, and it'll tell you, does the fox, the one who's guilty, does he have on a necklace, or she, or a top hat? And so each one will have 3 different things. And so you're trying to deduce which one of them is the one
the
that
guilty one.
is the guilty one before he escapes. And you're rolling dice to do this. So it's like Yahtzee style.
Okay.
And if the dice don't like you, you don't have much of a chance.
Well,
But-
So I got to tell you a funny story about that game.
yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. So I first met Spencer at a game store that is no longer there.
That was the we know what you're talking about.
Where I met Dan
And
Bob met Dan
there, yeah.
Dan just like a troll.
He hung out there.
I
By his
literally
house.
I lived like 3 blocks
Yeah.
from there. Like,
Yeah.
I was there a lot.
So I met
Dan's there looking at the sign,
Spencer.
Can I have friends?
I met Spencer playing in a Ticket to Ride tournament, which I won.
Yep.
And I won I forget what I won. I won a game or something.
Yeah.
I forget what game.
Was it Terraforming Mars?
No, it was like King Domino or something. No.
Okay.
Was it King Domino? It might have been
It
King
might have
Domino.
Well, this is interesting.
No, but Spencer
I feel like we've heard
was
this story,
there,
too.
and Addie was busted up that you didn't win because she wanted the game.
Oh, that's right.
And so Spencer got her
That's
outfoxed that
right.
day. And I was like, no, that's a really good game because I have it for my kids, blah, blah, blah. And so
It's funny.
when you started talking about outfoxed, I'm like, I remember. I was there the day that Spencer got that game.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm the reason you got that game, but
Yep.
just by default because
So the game sucks.
oh, it's a good kids game. It's really good.
It's even fun for the adults. So, yeah, we played that one, and then we had night with Mike.
We did. We were able to go to Mike's place, which I mean, I'm just gonna say on camera and embarrass him now. What a nice game room.
Oh my goodness, his whole house was beautiful, but his game room has inspired me to actually clean my house.
I know.
Oh, that's what it took.
So
Which
first,
is annoying for Spencer because he has a really nice house.
Yeah.
So how do you think we feel?
Yeah.
and my basement's coming along too. So it'll
That's
be there
good.
soon.
It's good.
First, we start off with Wavelength, which is the first time I've played this game.
I have
Have
not,
not
played. Well,
played.
technically, there is now an app out for it
Okay.
that kind of plays like the Jackbox games where you'll join a
okay.
room and then like you'll all make like scenarios, right? Like the either ors, and then it will kind of rotate around and like yours will show up on screen and everyone who's not you will guess, right? It's like a cooperative Jackboxy version. It played really, really fun, especially since it was a full co-op version, which is a little different,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But anyway, I mean, there's probably points and it probably says a winner like Jackbox, but as far as I know, it says it's cooperative. But yeah, so Wavelength is a game, by the way. Wavelength is by Palm Court, I've written. We'll see if that's right. So Wavelength is a game where there is usually what I've seen is 2 teams, and they have a person who basically has 2 extremes, right? So it might say freezing cold, burning hot, right? And then there is a little thing with a dial.
Yeah.
And they randomize it, and there will be a little pie section cut out, randomized on that dial, and then they have to give their team a clue
One
to
word,
get them
right?
to turn. It can be anything.
Oh, anything?
It can be anything. It can even be full-on expressions. It's just that the designers and stuff say keep it simple because that makes it more complicated. I think it's way more fun when you say some like. The first drop of rain on a summer's eve, and they're like, "What does that mean?" And you're like, "Figure it out," you know.
You play too much Shadow Network.
And then so you're trying to give a clue to get your team to dial it to be within that section. And then the other team gets a chance to say if the center of that section with the most points is to the left or right of where you dialed it. If they're right, they also get a point. And that's the whole game. You just go back and forth, and there's a interesting catch-up mechanic in the game that doesn't always happen, but it is a extreme catch-up mechanic. Like, hey, if you're getting your butt kicked, basically, if the team that is losing can get directly on the 4, they can nail it, then they can immediately take another turn. And that's a cool little idea. It doesn't happen all the time, but it gives them a chance. They know in the back of their mind, hey, we got to nail this because we can go again, right? But I thought it was fine. I've been wanting to play it for a long time.
Yeah, I remember when it came out to Kickstarter and I was interested, but
Right.
didn't have the funds at that moment.
There are other party games that I enjoy more, but like if someone said let's play Wavelength, I wouldn't say no. I will
Sure.
say it's one of the games that has a I don't know what you call it, a host of a team, whatever, like Phantom Inc. and stuff like that, have the one person who's like sitting behind the
Behind the
the
screen.
secret, the screen. This might be the most stressful one. Like, because the whole point is that card is so insane and you just have to come up with something. Like one of them is, let's say that the pie slice is like at the 40% mark and your clues are utopia and dystopia. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I get them? What do I say that gets them to guess? It's more of a utopia than a dystopia, but not too
Oh.
more of a utopia
The
than a
Matrix.
And
dystopia.
some of them might be
You
a
know?
little bit controversial. One of the cards that I rejected was there is a god, there isn't a god. Like,
Right, and
what?
like, so you have to say, what can I say to make them think there is a god, or say it's all the way down on this one? Okay, well, I have to say something that proves there's a god. Like, what do I
Then
say?
he will disappear in a
Yeah.
puff of logic.
That's right.
Because without that faith for God to
Babble.
exist.
Exactly.
Right.
The whole point is belief. So just by me saying there is a god means that I don't believe, right? But anyway, so it's interesting and stressful.
Yes. But it was fun.
I had
enjoyed
fun.
it.
I did.
Then I got to play Clank in space.
Which you were the one had never played.
I've never played any Clank before.
Oh, you've never played any
No.
Clank?
Now I've
Oh.
played Clank.
I love Clank.
That was fun.
I love
liked
Clank.
it. I know
It's
I
so
haven't
good.
played the original Clank.
Right.
but
Sure.
In space was
We'll get you
really
on
fun.
that.
I
Yeah.
prefer space slightly, but that does seem to be the minority. I think most people say that normal Clank
No.
is better.
I think I have heard that until Clank Legacy came out, in space was the preferred
preferred.
version.
Okay, that is not what I had heard,
Sure.
like in the forums and stuff. But that honestly, I think that more leaned to the fact though that Clank has 20 expansions, and Clank in Space just recently got like its second,
Second or
or
third.
something.
It's
yeah,
got a few,
right? But like
yeah.
for a long time, there were none, and it was like if
Right.
you have Clank in Space, that's all you get. If you have normal Clank, you have a million options, and
Right.
I think that might have been what leaned into what I was hearing.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, fantastic deck building game where
Yep.
you are moving around a board
Yep.
and getting artifacts.
Yeah, and you're limited by the different cards you can play, where you can move, if you can take damage as you move. And in this one, the board is separated into sections, and you can't get into the last section until you have
Multi-pass.
Yes, you have the
Multi-pass.
multi-pass. You've
Nice.
gone to hack the computer in 2 different areas. And then you can get to the last section and steal the big device, try to get all the way back to the cockpit and escape. Yeah, it was fun. It was stressful. We were basically tied.
Oh man, what an ending for Clank.
was so
Spencer and I
fantastic.
perfectly tied, and he won because he had the one artifact better than me. Like it was
Slightly.
like the 20 versus the
It was
25
the
or something.
tiebreaker.
Wow.
And he only had the 25 versus my 20 because he was able to get into the final section first.
Slightly
And we
faster.
were like both heading there, and he got that. So I was like, I'll take this because now the game's going to end soon now that Spencer
Right.
has that. And we booked it.
Yep.
We also had 2 people not make it out.
Oh, yeah, that's
Nice.
right.
Which
I
is
love it.
super rare from my experience. Like one person straight up died and didn't score. The other person made it to the cargo bay, they call it, or
Yeah,
something,
like
so
the
they can
survive, but you don't
score,
get
but
the
they don't
bonus.
get the
Yeah.
bonus
Yeah.
points.
The equivalent of being above ground.
And,
Right.
and didn't the guy who died, he had like the 30 and he was coming back. And I mean, if he made it,
Yeah.
he probably would have won.
Well, I think we mathed it, and I think Mike would have won if he had made
If he had
it.
made
Who
it,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
person in the
Yeah,
cargo
he might
bay.
have won, yeah.
Them's
the breaks.
I mean, Clank is a fantastic game system. I'm looking forward to whatever the next iteration is, honestly.
Don't
even
care.
though,
Blind buy.
Right,
Yeah.
even though Clank
Yeah.
and Clank in Space are extremely similar, just the theme difference and the slight mechanical differences are enough for me to recommend both, and I'm interested in the next iteration. They're great games.
I'll definitely want to play that one again. And every version I can get my hands on.
Yeah.
we really got to
after
do a
that,
legacy with all of us.
I know, I still haven't
Oh,
played it.
I'd love to play that.
I've got a Legacy in Shrink waiting.
Ooh.
Just
So
waiting.
after the stress
Waiting.
of Clank,
I
we
know.
decided to cool down with Bob Ross, Art of the Chill.
Okay,
bring it down.
so for a mass market, game that you find at big box stores,
Yeah.
how was Bob Ross? Art of the Chill?
surprisingly good.
First of all, evidently by Big G Creative, if you guys look it up, because there are like 3 Bob Ross games out now.
Oh.
They kind of exploded.
Huh.
Yeah, so what did you think of Bob Ross?
I actually enjoyed it. It definitely has a challenge in it. The way you play is there are probably real Bob Ross paintings are on a little easel.
They have to be.
They've got to be.
Yeah, they're really good.
Are there happy trees?
There's a lot of
so
happy
there's
little
like
trees.
5 different elements that might be on there, and we'll have 3. So it might have happy trees, fluffy clouds, and majestic mountains, and each one is going to have a different color palette that you got to make, and everyone's got their own little board, and they're going to have 2 sections where they can put the colors, and they've got to match it up and then paint it, and that takes it off, and they get points. Especially if they're the first one, they get more points. But the whole time, every time you're moving, you roll the little Bob Ross die, and if it lands on a Bob Ross head, a little Bob Ross figure moves across the painting.
Because he's just chilling.
Yeah, it's
I think that's
as he
literally what it
gets
says.
further, it actually lowers the points of some of the different elements.
So what this represents, again, for being a mass
I
market
love
game,
this.
like you're saying, so much of this was really well thought out. Your player board is the palette, and the cards that you're getting are the tools and the paints, and you are putting them on your palette and mixing them together. And if you have you have 2 sections there, so like if and each section only has 3 colors. So if one thing needs 4 colors, you have to use both sections. You have to use your whole palette. But if one has 3 colors, and you accidentally already have a paint down in your 2 sections, you are mixing a color that doesn't need mixed in this, and you have to clean your palette and wash it off and start over again. So that is a whole thing. But then the thing that we were just talking about is Bob Ross is moving and making things less points, and that's because he's painting too, and he's faster than you.
Oh my gosh, is he fast?
And it purposely simulates that famous joke and feeling that you get watching Bob Ross, where you're watching him and you look down, you're trying to paint, and you look at him, the painting's done, and you're like, and so as he's painting, you're like, slow down. I'm trying to paint this.
It's like a 2 to 5 player, but I'm like, no, that's a 1 player. Just try to beat Bob Ross.
Right. I said it felt like the Sherlock Holmes consulting detective. You're like, he's so fast, I can't outsmart him.
So from your description, it sounds very color dependent. Is there anything to mitigate that or to help with the?
That is a very good question. I'm not certain.
I don't think the cards say the colors on them.
They do.
I honestly don't remember.
They might be different pictures, but then it'd be very difficult for you to really tell.
Man, that is a great question.
That's a good question.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say it does matter only because even if the cards say the color on it, the board doesn't. And the board shows you the color splotches you need. Kind of like the bottom of the canvas cards, how it has the colored lines, right?
At least those are all in the same spot,
right?
So you kind of game that system
I don't think it is. Now, I will say the one thing I will give the game is that not always perfect because there are so many paintings in the game, but for the most part, it does make sense, and I guess that doesn't help you either super much. But so the clouds, right, on a picture that has like a morning sky you're gonna have to mix like blue, red, and white, right? Because that's the blue for the sky, the red because the hints of the red in the morning, and the white because the clouds, right? It makes sense, right? If you're painting trees, you're gonna need brown and green, and depending if it's autumn, you might throw some red or yellow in there, right? Like they do make sense. So if you're looking at a painting, it does make sense. So if you're looking at a tree, 100% there's going to be green and brown in there. The problem is, well, if it's fall, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell that. And then what colors do I need? So I'll say it is a bit color dependent, but we can come back with more information on that.
Sure. If you get some glasses and then play Scoville, Bob Ross,
Fresco. I also like that in order to paint one, you have to use the right tool. And they're all the Bob Ross tools, the palette and the brush and everything.
Right. So the tree not only needs
fan brush,
yellow, blue, or whatever, but you need the fan brush in your hand to discard as well to paint and stuff. So I think they did a great job with the theme here. And I'm going to say a super unpopular opinion, I'm sure. I enjoyed this a lot more than Canvas, which I thought was a similar, painting kind of thing. I mean, the mechanics are way different, but it's okay, you're painting pictures, and they're both very relaxing, calming games, both kind of a party-ish feeling. Bob Ross is a bit more relaxing than party, to where Canvas is the other way, right? But I've played Canvas a lot, and I don't dislike it, but I don't like it as much as other people, it seems.
I think Canvas is fine, but I'm not one to just go, hey, I want to play Canvas.
Right, and I played this, and I I was like, I want to play this again.
It was good.
It was a good mixture of fun and challenging,
Right
and chilling.
Cool. And chilling.
And chilling.
I got more, but we can get back to me later.
Sure. So last week we played Vigilante.
We did.
The final production copy.
I don't think we've ever talked about that game
I know we've hardly ever talked about it, and I never talk about the art, but the art is really good on that game.
Yeah.
So it is a tableau building, hand management, social deduction game.
Yeah.
Sprinkling
all sorts of things.
Sprinkling a bunch of stuff on there.
Toil and trouble.
Oh man! But you're building this superhero team, and you're going and you're knocking out the supervillains, and there's a potentially a scenario which might give you different objectives, or it might layer the grouping of how many good players, neutral players, evil players.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because the scenario we played, we knew there was one good player, and everything else was random. Mm-hmm. So it's wow, we don't know. And we're all accusing each other of being evil,
which I would do anyway. But
yeah. Turns out we were all good, but even then that didn't guarantee victory for everybody because of your own individual card, you have different requirements you need to meet to win. But
Which is cool.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I really appreciate
I like
that.
that.
Because we all won, but it wasn't guaranteed that we were all good.
Right,
that
because
we
like one
would
person's
win.
like, oh, 5 guys arrested per player, or 7 people per player,
Right.
or things
Yeah,
like
or
that.
some are. I know that some
No more than so many people can die.
Yeah, some are related to the class of villains as well. The little icons on them, like have a
Yeah.
certain amount of this
Those
type
guys
of
are
villain
right.
and stuff.
Yakuza or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I couldn't
as I
think
was
of one.
playing, I'm like, I need 7 and more per player to be defeated. And I'm looking around. We're getting near the end. I'm like,
counting.
he's only got 5.
Yeah.
I gotta kill more.
Yeah, right, kill some extras.
Gotta get that average up, man.
Yeah,
Those are
rookie numbers. Yeah.
But yeah, Vigilante, really good. It's coming to retail soon. So if you are interested in it, I would ask your FLGS about trying to find a copy. They've got a website. They've got links and videos and so on and so forth.
We also have
We'll
a
have an
video
interview
coming
coming
up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. We had an interview with the designer, and that will be out very soon.
Next
Reed.
week?
Yeah, Reed Mescola.
Reed Mescola. We had a great conversation with him, but if you don't know anything about the game, you should probably check out our review and stuff
Watch
first.
the review
because,
video first.
We don't talk about how to play in the interview because we just want to talk about, an interview with the designers for people who already know about the game for the most part. So you should probably at least know how to play the game or the interview won't make as much sense.
Sure. I mean, we do talk about like
Right. The basic mechanics and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but we all played Vigilante.
We did.
We played Phantom Inc.
We did. Yep. that was a good
We
one.
believe we all played that together,
I
right?
I think we
so.
did. Yeah. Wait for
And
everybody to kind of show up.
I
and
think it was my first time playing not as the
spirit. Yeah.
Was it also your first time playing on Bob's team and getting your butt kicked? I was just going to high five his head.
terrible. I was watch that high five. And
I was purposely just going to high five his head, and then he intercepted, and I was like, oh, dang.
I will just say, full disclosure, I believe Jeff was our spirit.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean,
He just
correlation is not always causation, but for the
That
record.
bus you,
For the record.
that
I
bus you
agree.
just
I understood your clues, and I wasn't on your team.
just went by may or may not have had Jeff underneath it.
Yeah.
But
I liked
yeah.
being the spirit. It was fun.
Phantom Inc. is really good. Playing the spirit is a blast.
Yeah.
It is also a ton of fun being on the other side of that, trying to figure out
What
what the
questions?
heck,
What are they talking about?
what the
Yeah.
heck are these clues for?
Right. I mean, I'll say, too, for Phantom Inc., I think in the review I talked about, like, man, I don't want to be the Phantom super often because because the other side seems so much more fun or something. I said something like that. But then, like, after playing Wavelength and seeing how hard it is to be the one in that one, I'm like, I'll be the host in any game other than that one now.
And then we also played a couple rounds of Teensyville Blood on the Clock Tower.
We played
Yes.
Blood on the Clock Tower in real life. Yeah. It was
fun.
awesome. We had a great time with our little gossip simulator, walk around whispering to each other. And I purposely, because I knew it was going to be great, I'll use the word content, even though it wasn't like recorded. It's not for you guys, but it was great content for us. I was purposely in a double claim with Tim in the second game, saying that I was what Tim was so that Tim and I would argue the whole second game. And it was fantastic. It was so good.
And in the second game, 3 of us said we were the same 2 roles.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, which was very weird because that mathematically doesn't work out.
So yeah, there was that, and then I had the weird crossover with Dan, and I'm like, what in the hell is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, I kept saying, like, well, I know you're not the mayor. And
Right.
you're like, well, I know you're not the mayor. Fantastic.
It was so funny. It was so
and
funny.
somehow we pulled it off.
Well, what's really funny is the first game. I was a character where I knew who everybody was. I was the only one who knew who everybody was, and I was an evil character. And so I waited. I played it really cool because I didn't want to like abuse the information and just break the game right away. But so I talked to everybody but Spencer, who was the imp, the main bad guy. I waited and I let Spencer initiate conversation with me because I didn't want to. I just play this real cool.
Plus,
see what happens.
Plus, Mike said like 30 seconds. I'm like, yeah, now's a good time.
Yeah, so Spencer's like, okay, and I just go, before you say anything, I know you're the imp. And Spencer's like,
Yeah. Well, because he has the trauma of the other game where he walked up to an innocent
The
person
wrong
and said,
person.
I'm the imp.
And still won.
or so you said, I'm a minion.
but anyways, I was like, I know you're the imp because blah, 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 blah. And Spencer's like, oh, okay. And I said, now look, they already suspect, I forget, it was Jeff. They already suspect Jeff. I'm not going to nominate him. I say we just let people nominate him. And we're like, and then we'll just vote if we need to. And sure enough, it played out that way. We won like
First round.
We had
It
a
was
very
great.
unfortunate game, and I don't mean unfortunate as in not fun. It was amazing.
Oh, it
But,
was so much fun.
We had what I think might be the most powerful role in the game.
Tim.
He was the spy.
Oh, the spy. Right. My mistake.
He was the spy who, you know, that secret grimoire the storyteller gets to look at and design and everything. Every night, he just shows that to Tim, and Tim knows everything in the game. So at the start of the game, he knows who
super powerful.
everyone is.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah.
It's so powerful, but it makes it obvious because how do you portray that information without everyone saying, "Oh, well, he's the spy. He knows everything," right? And then in that game, we had a saint who was playing a bit cagey, which is fine. The saint usually does, but since the saint played a little cagey, Tim was able to kind of, you know,
people
let
were
people run with it.
Yeah, and if the saint gets executed, voted dead by everybody, then they lose the game. Good
team
team loses
loses.
the game. So it was like if I could get everybody to just kill Jeff, we win like that. But if we gotta play it out, like I was very content to like let this play
Right.
out too, though, right? Because I had all the information, so I was very comfortable just kind of being in cruise control with this. You know what I mean? And
No, yeah, and I said, like, because he did come out as Saint when it started coming towards him as the thing, and I said, I was like, it's like day one. We clearly should not be killing Jeff right now. Like, what is happening? And Good Team fell apart and did not listen to that logic, and they absolutely voted for Jeff.
Well, I also realized that if anyone was killed on the first night, Evil was going to win. Because the next
Good was
round,
dumb.
Evil would have been tied with Good, and we wouldn't have killed anyone.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, that's the problem with Teensyville, right?
Yeah.
You got to really stack the good team because if you, like you said, basically mathematically, if you kill a townsfolk day one, it's going to be very difficult to come back from that. So you got to kind of stack them with really powerful roles that learn stuff. You know, like a washwoman in a normal game is cool, but a washwoman like a Teensyville is huge. I mean, that's 2 good people verified, possibly, out of, 5. So
yeah.
anyway.
Nope. It was we played a couple rounds of that. It did not disappoint.
Yep.
It was a ton of fun.
By the Pandemonium Institute, and it's finally...
Shipping.
We're like literally less than 2 months away
Yeah, it's
from it
getting
shipping.
close. It's getting close.
So excited.
Nice.
Getting close. I've got only one other game to talk about if you guys want to bust through some
Oh,
of these.
I got a few.
I'm done, I think.
So we did play some Into the Echo side.
Oh,
Talked
right
about
on.
it, Yep, got that to the table a little bit. Talked about it a lot. Blank Slate.
Yes,
Yes.
Blank Slate,
Played
that
a
was fun.
big game of Blank Slate. That was a lot of fun.
We
Plays
had
up
like
to 8
max
people.
players, yeah.
I played all 8 people, and that was it was close.
Yeah, it
Normally like
was.
1 or 2 people start.
It was like a bunch of new people I saw. I wasn't in on that game, but I saw like a bunch of new
yeah, there
faces.
were like at least 4 people.
And
Yeah.
one of the new people won, but I mean, we were mostly all within 5 points.
Yeah, we're all like pretty much close to over 20.
Yeah.
Right on.
So that was a really good game. And then after that, we still had a large group, so we played Detective Club.
I love.
That's if you
nice.
play
Been
Dixit,
a while.
it's like that with more BS, right?
Yeah.
So you got
It's a good explanation.
yeah. So you have these little pads of paper, and you're gonna come up with you're gonna look at your cards, like one person is, and they're gonna come up with some kind of a word or clue or phrase that links 2 of the cards together, and they're gonna write that down on all these pads of paper except for one, mix them up, and hand them out to all the players, so everybody knows what you're talking about except for one person, and then you're gonna lay one card down, everybody's gonna look at it, and then everybody else is gonna lay down one card, go all the way around. And then you're going to lay down your other card, and everybody's going to look at it, and then lay down their second card. And then once everybody's laid out 2 cards, whoever wrote down the word is going to say what it was, explain why they picked the cards they did. And then they're going to go to the next person, and they're going to have to explain themselves.
Oh, it's
why did
so
you pick
good.
those cards?
So
Yeah.
good. I love.
I saw rain on this card, and that made me think of the first drop of rain on the
Yeah.
summer.
yeah.
Or one time it came, I was the next person right afterwards, and I was didn't know, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know anything, so I'm like, well, I really had terrible hands.
Yeah, that can explain why I had to pick, so I had to get rid of a
That excuse
card.
gets used
Way too
every
much.
every
I'm
game,
sure it does.
every round.
Right, but that's because sometimes it's just true.
Sometimes
Yeah.
you just have a terrible
Yeah,
hand.
but there was this one kid there, and man, he played it off so well. I was like, it's got to be legit, so it's got to be somebody else. And no, it was him, man. He totally hoodwinked me. It was pretty good.
I love
Yeah.
Detective Club.
Yeah,
It is.
it's
so
one. I
good.
think it's one of the better because there's like 3 games now that kind of use those
Like
like large
Mysteria.
Mysterium,
Yeah.
Dixit.
Oh, that's what
Detective
you
Club
meant.
is my favorite one of those.
Yeah, so like there's like these crazy artwork cards, and there's just so
Right.
like
And then with the same
Random.
idea, though, have you played Obscuria?
I have
No,
not.
Because I've heard that one's really good. That one
Okay.
has the same kind of, so Mysterium, Detectives Club, they all have that same kind of like solving things off of the picture mechanic
Okay.
thing or whatever.
Sure.
And I've heard Obscuria is really good, but yeah,
Okay.
none of us
have
have
to look
played.
at that.
Yeah,
Not yet.
I'm gonna write that down. Obscure. You guys should write that down too. Obscurio. Okay. And then after that, we kind of broke up into 2 groups to get some other games played. We played Black Fleet. It's
Oh,
one of my
yeah. That's such a good
favorite
game.
pickup and delivery games. I got a really nice copy with like the
At least till
ships.
Quest and Cannons comes out.
Yes. Yeah. This is my go-to pickup delivery pirate type game until once that hits. So
and your copy is beautiful.
Yeah.
Your copy of Black Sails looks really good.
Yeah, Black Fleet.
Yeah.
But you pick them up. It's got like the ships have spots to hold the little cubes on, and you're playing cards that give you movement. There's Navy ships that you can go around and try to sink the pirates. The pirates are coming up and hitting your ship, taking your cubes and trying to bury them in the sand somewhere while you're trying to do this pickup and delivery, and then unlock this tableau of cards that will get you more asymmetrical powers and whatnot. And I got the attack from one space away. Oh my gosh, it's brutal. It was so good. But yeah,
did you win Bad Teacher Award?
I did.
Yeah,
but
He always does.
Yeah. Well, technically we had to stop early.
Bob
but I
likes
was
teaching new players because it's how he wins.
Not true. I win otherwise as well. But yeah, that wasn't totally my fault. I had a really strong card.
That you did.
I did. And then I did play the Lost Ruins of Arnak with the Expedition Leaders expansion.
How was that?
I really liked it. So you get like asymmetrical people, and instead of having your little campsite that everybody's is the same, you get an asymmetrical board, and they've all got different powers and whatnot. I used the Falconeer, and so like some of my cards would let me move my Falcon, or I could like give up certain actions to move the Falcon, and the further the Falcon was down the track, then I could reset it and gain recall it basically,
cool.
right?
Gotcha.
And gain an ability.
It's like it was out hunting
doing things,
for
and then
something.
bringing me back like
That's
items
really
and
cool.
things like that. Yeah, so that was super neat. And then I'm trying to think of what the other players had for their abilities, but I was still trying to figure mine out that I wasn't really paying a lot of attention to their. But there's like 5 or 6 different people to choose from, and it adds a new track. So the science track, like where you do, that changes up quite a bit. And
Does it just like layer on top, like it's a whole
you
new
just put
track?
it's like it's like an over
Got it.
over thing. And then new cards and whatnot in there too. But I like it. I added it in there. And
Yeah, I was gonna say you said at the beginning you said like I like it.
Yeah,
as if it sounded like most people don't.
Well, Tim didn't care for his didn't care for his character ability.
Okay.
And I don't know if he was just having a hard time getting it to proc correctly or whatnot. He was his first time playing the game too, so it might have just been too much.
A lot.
Too much at once.
I was gonna say because I just don't see how it couldn't be great. Like obviously balancing would be the big thing, right? But as long as that's not a problem, like Arnak's a good game, and then you just throw asymmetric player powers in it, and I'm sold. Like it just sounds great to me.
Yeah, no, you have to check it out. But like I said, he just might have had a hard time playing it as his first go around. But like I know David enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. Tim just seemed to be about it a little bit.
Sure. So. Right on. Well, that's good. That's good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Because Arnak is a really good game, and then the
expansion's kind of been hard to get. I pre-ordered that thing. Like
well, yeah, and now we have to try because didn't you just get the Dune Imperium expansion too? So now we have to play that one too.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like we have to try both expansions because that's such a those games fight a lot.
They do,
especially in this group about which one's better and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like now they both have expansion. I've heard great things for both expansions. So like I'm really interested.
Yeah,
to see
I read
what
the
here.
rule book for it, so I'll have to try it out. So.
Right on. So I got a game, Lucky Duck Kids game called Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy.
Okay. I don't know if I know this one.
No, it's pretty new. Just came out last year. But anyways, it's kind of neat. It's interesting. You might have a hard time with it because it is very color dependent.
Yeah, I'm out.
But but it's an app-driven game like a lot of Lucky Duck ones are.
Okay.
It's interesting because you open up the box and there's like a deck of cards and it's like, stop. This is the first deck you use. So you grab that section first, and you're like in Grandpa's attic, and so you shuffle all these cards up, and the cards are like just things that are certain colors. It could be like underwear or a tutu, or an old sock. And some of the cards are like avocados and things like that, but they've got vitamins on them. Okay, like a little vitamin symbol. So the thing is in the app will bring up this little monster, on your phone, right? So I just have my phone sitting in the middle of the floor, and we're sitting around playing. And the monster, let's just say the monster is purple. So you, without talking, everybody's got to play a card, and you hold it over the phone. It reads a QR code, and it looks like this old sock is, the monster is eating this old sock.
Got it.
But you are trying to feed the monster a combination of colors that will keep him as close to the color as he is. But you've got to do it. You can say like, oh, I've got a pretty good one. You
be vague with your clues.
Right. You just can't say I got a
blue
big
one.
sock. Right. Yeah. You could say I guess I don't know if all the socks are like the same color. You might be able to say I've got a sock, or whatever. Anyways, you got to be vague.
Tim. I don't know if all the socks are the same color either.
I don't know. Beauty. But so, anyways, you're doing this, and then the monster will change to the color because of the combination of colors.
Sure.
And then if you're close enough, he's happy. You get stars. You keep going, and then you've got to get so many stars, and then you finish that, and then you can move on to another deck. Which actually you just add that deck to the next one, and you can shuffle those all in together. But it was pretty fun because then every once in a while there's a big eared monster that'll come out, and you can't talk because he's shy and he doesn't like sound. So you can't talk while you're playing the cards for that one. And, but the animations and stuff on the thing, like the kids are hilarious because, you're like, oh, I'm going to feed it underwear. And it's like, ew, underwear,
yeah.
and stuff. So the other thing, right? The cards that have vitamins. Monsters don't like vitamins.
Of course.
So if you give it like an avocado, it's this really great green that matches, but now he's got a vitamin. So there's a timer going. And so you have to play so many cards before
The timer runs out.
Before you can play another card with a vitamin on it.
Okay.
If you play another card
I
with a
see.
vitamin on it, they all scatter because you're giving them good food.
Well, I know this.
I'm falling for that again.
This is a really funny idea.
And then there's like candy cards, and that's like a joker, so that will match any color because they love candy. That's a perfect match.
Candy. Yeah.
But yeah, we played through the first deck, so it's like 3 different scenarios. There's like story mode you can play. There's just like you could just play like a one shot, kind of game.
I
Future
assume
Kid's
you
Legacy.
played this solo.
I played with my kids.
Oh, okay. It just sounded like a Tim game.
They were there.
King Meister's like candy.
Oh, he does not like that avocado.
Neither do I.
Truth. But yeah, anyways, I played with the kids, Clark and Mallory, and we went through the first deck, and I had a really good time. It was really cute, really fun. I think, unfortunately, I don't think you would get to enjoy it as much because I was like,
Sure.
oh, I need to play this with the guys and review it. And we probably will do a review. I would be interested to see,
How
for
it
you to
works.
look at it and for you to go, nah, just ain't going to work. But if it does work, that'd be awesome too.
Right.
But anyways, yummy, yummy, monster tummy, Lucky Duck kids.
I'm going to do a little sidebar here. So in the Bob Ross game,
Yes.
to educate, it does say the colors on the cards, like I said, because it says
Good.
cadmium yellow, stuff
Okay.
like that,
That's
right?
right,
So it says
it does,
those.
yeah.
But like I said, on the board, it doesn't. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'll send this to Jeff so that you guys can see on screen the picture Bob is looking at right now, and you can see what Bob has
these
trouble
swatches
with.
up top?
Yes.
Phthalo blue.
This looks like a pink. Is that pink?
Well, as long as they're
Blue.
differentiated
Well,
from
so
each
the
other.
colors-
Blue, yellow.
green.
The colors are going to be all very obvious
or
painting
black.
colors. So it's going to
That's
be
gray or
it's going to be
black?
it's going to
Yeah,
be
it doesn't look
red,
green to me.
white, black, and then red, brown, blue, yellow, orange.
Oh, it could be
Yeah,
brown.
that's
think.
right.
Do you see browns?
But no,
I mean, usually, but brown's got red in it, and it's the
Oh.
red
Yeah,
that I have
that's
a hard
true.
time.
yeah,
Gotcha.
as long as you can differentiate between those swatches, that's
I mean,
Right.
I can tell they're different.
Right, because
Can I tell you what
you'll
color
see
it
them
is?
in your hand and
Probably
you'll
not.
see them on the board. So as long as you can differentiate them so you can match them,
Yeah.
that's all that would matter.
Yeah,
Oh, and I
that's
see
kind of
that.
what it comes down to a lot of times too. Is like okay, yes, I can tell there's a difference. I
See
might
that
I might
sneaky
say
Bob
that
Ross
looks
walking
brown to
around
me, and you're like,
bottom.
actually no, that's red. Like okay,
Oh,
well I can
plus-
tell it's different than the blue one next to it.
Plus, you can always ask.
Of
'Cause there are
course,
other
of
players
course.
who'll be able
Okay.
to tell you.
So that wouldn't give away like game information. Like,
No.
Okay.
No, because
is that
everyone
blue?
knows.
No.
Yeah, no. Like everyone knows that people are going to be working towards stuff, and that doesn't
Okay.
matter. Like you would just ask when the painting first comes out. So which one has blue on it, and we tell you, and then that's all that
Okay.
mattered. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to
it's
get
good
that
follow-up.
started.
I got a couple more real quick.
Yeah, fly
Um,
through them and then we'll get to news.
First, I bought the online version of This War of Mine.
Ooh,
nice.
Nice.
From
Did
the
the,
Game
uh,
Found.
did the-
So GameFound made the board game version, and they gave the rights to 11-bit studios to do the video game version, which I'm assuming is not very much like the board game. I'm very interested in getting the board game.
It honestly looks very similar. Like if you see the board game, it is a side view cut out of the house with
Yeah.
all the different rooms, and then there's outside sections, and there's like exploration cards and stuff. It looks like and stuff. So it looks like a similar idea.
Okay, yeah. So you have 3 characters. When I played the first time, one of the characters started off slightly sick, and there's a timer. So you have to do things quickly. You have to select a character. You're going to die the first few times because it takes some getting
hard
used to
game.
how you get things
It's
to
a
work,
hard
and it is a
game.
hard game. But you have to, get food for your people, go get water for your people. You can build things, so you have to materials. If you want to actually have a good night's sleep, you got to make a bed. Otherwise, you're too tired to do anything the next day. Stuff like that. And then there's a night phase, and during the night phase, you send 1 or 2 of your people out to raid a nearby place, and One of them was the neighbor's place. You don't think anyone's there. You can go raid it. And it was no problem. Then another one was, don't go to this place because we hear gunshots. But of course, there might be something really good there. And another one was, there's a church over here. I'm like, well, I'll go to the church. I went to the church, and one of the options, as I'm looking around the church because there are other people, there was the poor box. And I could steal from the poor box. And I'm like,
yeah, real moral dilemma there.
I'm poor. I mean, it's basically just
Yeah.
sitting there waiting for me.
But then also what can happen at night is you can be raided by other people.
Right.
So you have to have defenses. So yeah, it is interesting. I haven't finished one. I haven't gotten too far in one yet. So I'm going to try it again and see what else I can come up with. But
Yeah.
I think of it as like the atmosphere of like The Last of Us, where everything is just depressing and gross.
Yes.
On like Fallout Shelter,
Yeah.
you know.
That's
and so
about-
like you
yeah.
picture like Fallout Shelter where everyone's like and stuff, but everyone's like, life sucks. I'm dying. You know, like that's
Pretty
this
much.
war of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other one I played, brand new, just got it on like Thursday, is Return to Dark Tower. I had tried it out with my daughter, downloaded the app, played it. We're probably going to go through it pretty soon. But the basic premise is you have this gigantic mechanical tower in the middle of the board. Everyone has their own little kingdom, and you're moving around the place. Little skulls will sometimes come out of the tower, and if they come into your board, you got to put them on one of your buildings. If any board or building gets 4 skulls on it, it explodes, and you get a corruption. And anyone who gets 3 corruptions, game's over. There's other ways to get corruption.
Right, because it is cooperative.
It is, well, there's a co-op and there's a non-co-op version.
Okay.
So there's 2 ways to play. It's a fascinating game because as the tower turns, sometimes you have to remove a little seal. And remove a seal, there could be a hole. So sometimes when you drop a skull in the top, it gets stuck behind a seal instead of popping out. You remove a seal, suddenly 3 of them come at you.
Right.
Or
Classic.
it could reveal a little glyph, and the glyph corresponds to one of the actions. If that glyph is facing you, you have to spend an extra spirit in order to do that action at all.
That's terrible. I thought this was going to be a good thing.
Yeah.
No,
I hear
no,
glyphs,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
like, ooh, extra actions. Nope, makes it harder.
they've been sealed up for a reason.
That checks out, I guess. That checks out. So you're saying you played this with your kid?
Yeah.
So you're saying this is on par with Yummy Yummy Monster Tummy? Would you say
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe a little more complicated.
Okay.
But, like production values the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Production values the same.
Yeah. So, it was a fun game.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I really look forward to playing it. Spoiler alert, we're going to play it as soon as we're done filming this. So I'm excited for that. So let's get into news.
I got news.
I got a little bit of news.
Here, little news.
We'll bust through news and then like one or
So
two
today in
Kickstarters.
news, the big thing for me, right? Did we talk about Dead by Daylight yet?
I think we talked about it only on the Discord.
Right,
I couldn't
that's what I
remember
thought.
if we did it in the
so,
show.
I
or
mean,
not.
I have to talk about this because
Yes.
I'm like the Dead by Daylight guy. So, Dead by Daylight has a board game coming by Level 99 Games. They have partnered with Behavior Studios, who makes the video game. Level 99 Games is known for making Millennium Blades, which is a really good, interesting game, but
Yeah.
it is like too much for me. There is so much just going on in that game that I'm just like, oh, like I played it once and I was like, that was cool. Keep it away from me. It's like kind of like what I was like. Designed by D. Brad Talton Jr., who also designed Millennium Blades. They did some other stuff, but that's like the standout.
Well, Millennium Blades is the famous one, right?
Right.
So
This is supposed to be. They said this is supposed to be like for sale in October of this year, 2022, which makes it sound like not a Kickstarter.
right.
From the way they're saying it, it's not like coming to crowdfunding. They just said like it should like they didn't say. I don't think they said hit stores, but it was like a similar expression that
Yeah.
made it sound like it was just coming straight out. Which I think Millennium Blades just came straight out, right?
I don't believe that was a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I don't remember. But so 3 to 5 players. The only things I've written down here game-wise, because then I can just tell you what Dead by Daylight is 3 to 5 players. There is a normal and a special edition, which I don't have the prices for written for some reason. I always... never mind. It's because it's news. I don't have prices yet for news. So the normal edition is going to have 7 survivors, 6 killers, and 2 maps. And these special edition or whatever is going to have 17 survivors, 16 killers, so adding 10 to both, and doubling the maps to 4.
So I'm wondering if they're going to use the IP killer, like the killers that
They
have
are
the IPs for.
clearly only using the original killers. Yeah.
Right, but there's not 16 of the original killers.
I think there
right?
are.
Are there?
I think
really?
there are. There's almost 30
Well,
killers
They
in that
could
game.
do like
Wow.
Zombicide did, right, where you make him adjacent.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
what
that's true.
honestly, that's what Dead by Daylight is, though.
Oh,
Like when the
really?
game came out, like they have the Trapper, who is clearly based on Jason Voorhees, right, which they haven't gotten yet. They have the Legion, who really felt like Ghostface. Then they got Ghostface, right? They had
the
Hillbilly, who was
who's-
clearly Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Then they got Bubba, right? So like they tend to do their own version when they don't have the rights, and
Sure.
then get the rights, and now
I
they
think
have both versions, right?
Sure.
Like that tends to be what they do, it seems.
So they're gonna be like a hidden movement type of thing.
So
There's
so
nothing in
that's the big
gameplay.
thing. I hate the picture, guys, of this map because what it looks like. And listen, I could be totally wrong here. There was one picture released of this board, but I think, especially as someone who for a long time was designing a Dead by Daylight board game, I wanted it so bad, and I was coming up with ideas and doing all this stuff, and I thought it was coming along really well. And I see this, I'm just like, man, that is not how I would do it. As someone who has put like 800 hours into this game.
What's funny though is that we talked about this, right? Like I saw that, I sent Dan the link right away. I was like, oh no, because we were working on our own kind of thing. And then Dan's like, well, it's probably not going to be anything like ours. And like,
Right, ours wound up not being Dead by Daylight anyway. We turned it into something else, but
right, but I mean,
it has those bones.
but then looking at it, like the inspiration, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But then looking at the pictures and stuff, it's like that doesn't look like anything that we're
Yeah, so
doing.
to sum it up, what it looks like is you have a hand of cards which are very simple action cards that just have a picture on them. I think pandemic cards, right? Where it's just this is just a red card, right? That's all that card stands for, right? So it looks like you're gonna have like crouch, run, vault, and walk. Like that's what it looks like. And then the map is made up of different locations. Like, oh, here's I don't know what they're called, honestly, because in the video game you just call them like the T-wall because it's literally like wall shaped like this and stuff, right? But they're gonna have a bunch of different locations on the map in this, and they're connected by lines, and the lines have a picture on them. So this is a picture of a vault. So I'm guessing what that means is if you're in this location, you want to go to this location, you have to discard a vault card, right? That's what I'm guessing, which is just a super boring, simplistic system for Dead by Daylight, I think. And then the idea behind Dead by Daylight is there are going to be generators around the map that you have to go and turn on. You have to activate them somehow. Meanwhile, the killer is trying to hunt you down and kill you by hitting you, damaging you, and then putting you on a hook, which the collector's edition will have 3D hooks that the 3D modeled characters actually have holes in their back, so you place them on the
hang
hooks.
them on there.
That's very
Goodness.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we don't know anything else. So this is going on blind. This could be an amazing game. It really could. I'm not trying to downplay level 99. Again, the fact that Millennium Blades is that deep in meta, like shows that they can do complicated, interesting games. That one picture, though, I just think that as a Dead by Daylight fan, was a terrible picture to share. Like, because
Yeah.
that picture is just like, Dead by Daylight is not this simplistic. Like, just like, I want to go from here to here, vault. I want to go from here to here, walk. That just doesn't scream Dead by Daylight to me at all. But we'll see. I could be totally
it's,
wrong.
It's way early in the press release
Exactly.
stuff.
Yeah.
so,
Exactly.
it's hard to jump.
We
to
will update
conclusions.
you, of course, as this comes along because it is one of my favorite video games of all time, and I'm very excited to see it finally get a board game. Even if I don't personally love it, I hope people do. Right?
Yeah, and I think like again, right, because of you, that is an IP that I have, gotten into and
Sure.
and put in a lot of hours and time with, and had a fantastic time. Like every time we play, that it's almost like a blind buy for the game, but. Please don't let it suck.
I mean, honestly, again, for me, once there is a video for gameplay released, that's what I'm really going to hold my judgment for.
Yeah.
Is they will kind of like a Kickstarter intro video, and they explain like something like that will come out at some point
Sure.
before the game's out, and that's when I'll be like,
See
how
what
does
the
this
experience
look?
is like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it might be amazing. We'll see.
I got one. Funko Games.
Oh, Prospero Hall's at it again.
Yeah, they're coming out with Rear Window.
Oh yeah, I saw this.
What a
Alfred Hitchcock's
weird-
Yeah.
Rear Window. I mean, what was that? 1950s?
Yeah, what a weird IP to
I
decide
know.
to do.
It's a 3 to 5 player game. It's going to come out next quarter, or is it already the second
Summer
quarter?
release. It's gonna
Yeah.
summer release.
Okay, there we go. It's a 3 to 5 player game. One of the players is the storyteller, the Hitchcock, or whatever
Hitchcock.
you want to call him. And he can't talk, and he's trying to give clues to the other players,
Like outfoxed.
out as to what is happening by playing cards that are kind of vague. And
Or Mysterium.
but
Yeah, I was
the
gonna
thing
say,
is,
yeah.
so you have to figure out who the murderer is and all sorts of details about the murderer, or if there even was a murder. Because there might not have been.
Right.
Because it's Rear Window.
Yeah.
I haven't
Did he
seen it.
actually?
I haven't
And-
seen it either, but I know what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, I've like read about
Or you
it.
could watch what was the Shia LaBeouf remake?
Oh, I actually really like Disturbia. Is that what
Yeah,
you're talking about? I actually
Disturbia.
really like
Oh,
Disturbia.
David
yeah, I've
Morse.
seen
and
Yeah.
Oh,
Same movie.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought so, but I wasn't 100% sure.
I mean, not the same movie.
I know, but like the
I
same
don't wanna-
basic.
I don't want to make people
same
mad.
basic
Same
premise.
story.
Oh, something
Yeah.
happened across the street. We saw it. Now they know that we know, or blah 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 blah.
Right.
blah, right?
Did I see
yeah,
what
but
I think
did
I
I
saw?
see what? Yeah,
Yeah.
hence
Yeah.
Disturbia.
Yeah, but it's a classic idea of
Yeah.
looking in on your neighbors and trying to figure out what's going on. So
Right.
voyeurism.
Yeah.
The game.
yes,
No, it's just really interesting to see like what Funko and Prospero Hall. So
Yeah.
Funko's the publisher. Prospero Hall is the design house.
Right.
It's just really interesting to see what, because they almost exclusively do licensed
Right.
games.
And somehow most of them seem to be liked.
somehow most of
So-
them are pretty decent.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
and I
But
really like the idea that the storyteller can't say a word
yeah.
through the whole thing.
Well, again, like Mysterium, same
Right,
thing.
yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. This one that I'm going to talk about is a game that will get me to try this game again.
I know what you're talking
I
about.
think
It
I know
Star
was next to me.
Wars, Villainous.
The power of the dark side.
Yes. So,
Yes.
Villainous, their characters you can be will be Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, General Grievous, Asajj Ventress,
I have a question for you, Tim,
and Moff Gideon.
and Moff Gideon.
Yes.
You saw the tokens lined up,
Uh-huh.
right? Did you know that was Asajj Ventress from the
I
token?
did not know that was
Oh,
Asajj
yeah.
from the token.
I
Did you?
knew it, dude. I was like, are they doing Asajj Ventress? Like,
Okay.
I couldn't think of anyone else that looked like that. And when it was her, I felt pretty good about
'Cause
myself.
she's like
I'm not
Clone
gonna
Wars,
lie.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I barely know anything about her, honestly.
See,
I haven't watched Clone
No,
Wars.
I knew
but
it was Asajj Ventress, but I didn't know about Moff Gideon because I haven't
I
seen
thought,
Mandalorian.
To me, I wrote down again. I wrote
Oh,
them down
Spencer.
before. As a matter of fact, you can even see. I wrote them down before seeing
Oh,
that they
okay.
were announced. I thought
Yeah.
they just showed the pictures, and I wrote Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Asajj Ventress, General Grievous, and I actually thought Count Dooku was the
Oh,
last
yeah.
one because
That's what I thought.
It
Yeah.
looked so Count Dooku to me. And then I found later in the article they said Moff Gideon. I was like, weird choice. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they're just trying to,
They're trying to get the
live
other
off
ones,
the
yeah.
popularity of Mandalorian
Well,
and
you're
stuff
you're
right now.
you're linking like
Yeah,
the
and you're linking the
major
different
iterations
ones
right?
together. Yes, but and Moff Gideon's cool, and that actor's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah,
I was just
Giancarlo
kind of
Esposito.
surprised. You know what really surprised me, which makes me think this is clearly going to be a gameplay mechanic. Okay, like the Fate deck. There's got to be something in there related to this, because how the hell is Palpatine not a playable character?
I think that's coming.
Okay.
I remember about
you think
Darth-
there's going to be
Yeah, promo or something.
He just seems base game to me. Like
Yeah.
that just seems crazy. But I guess that's the point. Is
The article I
can't
read
have
was
everyone
like-
who feels like they should be base game, or you won't sell expansions.
right.
So.
I'm like, I want to play Darth Maul.
Yeah, well, he will definitely be an
Yeah.
expansion. Like Darth Maul makes sense to not be base game to me, but
Sure.
like
Yeah,
Palpatine
yeah.
is Star Wars, so I was just
Yeah. He is the
expecting.
Senate.
Yeah, he is the Senate.
I mean,
Really,
I
yeah.
want obviously like I want a Tarkin, I want a Palpatine, I
Right.
want
oh man, Tarkin, so good.
Oh, the-
I want
I
a
would've loved
a
that.
space on the Tarkin
Please?
board.
Yes.
that
Can you
says-
imagine how good that
Triumph?
Thrawn pawn is going to look?
don't even talk to me
The
about
Thrawn
it.
pawn's going to look amazing.
Dude, it's gonna just be
Thrawn
the
pawn?
blue head with red eyes. That's all I'd want
so
for
good.
the Thrawn one. But
Thrawn pawn.
I want a section of the Tarkin board that just says "You may fire when ready," right? And that's just an action that you can.
That
take.
might be the winning one.
Yeah, that's
May
true
fire
when
too.
ready. So cool.
Get to that point. Oh man, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Disney Villainous is fine. I don't hate it as much as Tim. I think it overstays its welcome. Unfortunately, like 85% of the time, but as a game, I think it's a good design and,
The art-
and it's fun.
it's really pretty
and
and
the
it's-
art is great. And those power tokens. I'm just kidding.
Amazing.
But, honestly, Marvel Villainous, I never got a chance to try.
I
but
wanna play.
really wanted to.
I will-
thought it
I
looked
wanna play
cool,
Marvel Villainous.
But like now that Star
Yeah,
Wars has
yeah.
been announced, which again, most obvious thing ever, but we called the Star Wars Villainous like a year and a half ago.
We
Like,
certainly did.
We
Well,
were
we
like,
called the Marvel one, and then we called the Star Wars
We
one.
said Star Wars is next. Yeah,
Disney's just stretching their IP.
well,
They're just
no,
going,
they're
yeah.
just they're what's the word? It's obvious, right?
Right.
That's what they're gonna do. But I'm sold. Star Wars Villainous is a genius idea, and I can't wait to play this. And the art, like you just see a couple of cars with like the Falcon and the TIE Fighter on, and you're like, oh, it looks so good.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
good. It's gonna be really good.
Ooh,
Well,
maybe it'll
hopefully.
it's like kyber crystals instead of like the power.
Yeah, see?
Oh man.
See? It'll be so much better.
Yeah, but it will
So-
probably just be a
Cardboard
credits,
shit.
right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Like that 7 with the
Yeah.
lines on it. August, right?
Yeah, it's all summer. These are like summer releases for the most part. While we're on the Disney train,
Okay.
I think I just have it on the brain because I'm going on a trip with the family in a couple weeks. We're going to Disney. But Smash Up is going to have a Disney, like, not just expansion, but like a
whole
starter
series
box.
thing.
Oh,
Like a starter
okay.
box of Smash Up.
Smash.
So like Marvel just had their Marvel Smash Up,
Mhm.
which again, not like the small box where you get like 4 factions, but like
Right.
the whole thing, right?
Standalone expansion.
Standalone expansion. So Smash Up, you shuffle 2 factions together. That's your deck. So you might have like pirates and dinosaurs. Shuffle those together, and then you're playing cards from your hand to take control of bases, and different bases do different things, give you different point values. Blah 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 blah. So Smash Up. Disney is gonna have Frozen, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph, Lion King, Mulan, Aladdin, Nightmare Before Christmas, Beauty and the Beast.
That's
That
weird.
is actually a lot. That's pretty
But
cool.
I don't understand how that's going to work.
Same thing.
How does normal Smash Up work? Oh, you have robot dinosaurs.
No, okay,
Yeah, it
okay,
makes
yeah.
total
Robot
sense.
dinosaurs who fight and all this, but you see a lot of fighting in the Lion King.
Yeah.
actually.
There's one
yeah.
scene, one scene of fighting.
Hyenas,
Yeah,
you
but
got
it's like
Scar,
the
you got-
scene.
Yeah.
You got Mufasa.
yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Losing stuff over there?
Losing- falling apart.
He's
over
got
here.
them all worked up.
I know,
but how's
there
that
we
gonna
go.
work? What do you mean,
Lion
Lion
King
King?
fighting.
But yeah, anyways, so for those of you that are interested, or even if you're just like curious about Smash Up, this might be a good family friendly way to get,
People into it.
kids into it and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
Okay,
What?
not rant time, but I discovered something.
yeah,
So because I'm going to go into another standalone expansion, Sleeping Gods: Distant Skies.
Yeah.
was announced, right?
That was mine.
You can
you can
you
do
can
it.
talk about it.
That's
But okay.
In a month, it'll be coming out.
Right. Okay. Cool. That's sooner than I thought. I probably have it written. Yeah,
Just
35 days.
35
You're right.
days. So yeah.
So I literally had an epiphany that everyone's gonna be like, Dan, you're such an idiot. This is what you had a problem with. But I had an epiphany. Okay, standalone expansion. I discovered why they do it, and I've just never thought about it before, and I still don't like it. I think it's a stupid expression. But literally, you guys are gonna be like, well, duh. I've just never thought about it like this. So, Smash Up, Disney, right?
yep,
Nemesis, Lockdown.
yep.
Sleeping Gods, Falling Skies. They call it that because they want to use the same name for marketing purposes.
Yeah,
so they
name
don't just,
recognition.
Right,
Branding.
exactly. So they don't just call it something else. They call it Nemesis Lockdown. But the other ones are called Nemesis Carnomorphs, right? So because it's just the same name with a colon, they have to market it as standalone because everyone's going to assume that it's an expansion because it has the colon and a subtitle, right? So that's why
You
they're
have to
doing
say
it, is because they want the
standalone.
brand
Brand
recognition of
yeah.
the main name with a colon. But that's how expansions work. So they're like, well, crap. Everyone's going to think it's an expansion. Put standalone really big on the box.
That way you
right?
can just get that and play it.
Right. And I literally had never thought about that as the main reason, but like I was thinking about it when I saw Sleeping Gods, and I was like, if I saw this box, I would just think it was an expansion because the
right.
artwork, the name, everything just looks like an expansion.
Right.
And the
Oh, it's a
core-
standalone expansion. Oh, it's because they want to call it Sleeping Gods. Like it all just kind of piled together. I still hate it. But like
the
I
core game-
understand the marketing reason now.
But the core game is also so similar that you can swap pieces.
Sure,
back
and again,
forth.
that's
It's
the other thing with the expansion thing is you
Yeah.
just mix it together, I guess. But Vigilante is having a similar thing, right? Where
Yeah.
we talk about it in our interview, but there will be a standalone expansion, that he mentions in that interview,
And an expansion.
and an expansion.
Yeah.
That's what they should all
Um,
just call them. Expansion,
expansion,
standalone expansion.
That would help me. No, but
still
so
hate it.
yeah, all we knew was so Sleeping Gods is a Red Raven Games thing in 35 days.
Great art.
Well, so obviously by the time you see it, it'll be like 32 days or
Right.
something, right?
Yeah, it's like a
but
month. Yeah, there's a preview page on GameFound you can look at.
yep.
Yeah, cool that it's going through GameFound.
Yep.
Yep.
Also, one thing that it's maybe too late, but I'm going to mention it anyways because I think it bears mentioning. So GameFound it teamed up with the publisher of This War of Mine, because this is where I thought you were going to go when you're talking
Yeah,
about
that's what
games
I
you
thought you
played.
was
Oh,
going
yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And they were selling off the remainder of their Kickstarter
Yes.
copies, and all proceeds were going to Ukrainian relief
Relief.
efforts, which I
Yep.
thought was amazing.
Yep.
I was actually got online to buy a U.S. copy, and they were sold out in English.
I was gonna. Oh well.
So you could buy one. There might be some available in other languages,
Yeah.
but I believe that it is going to be pretty language dependent, like because of a lot of
Gotta
the
read the
text on the
cards.
cards and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
But anyways, I just thought that was fantastic. And while I was disappointed I wasn't able to get a copy, I played the game and wouldn't have bought it otherwise. But like because of what they were doing, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this game, and if I give it away or I
Yeah.
just have it on my shelf,
Sure.
I'm contributing to a cause. And then, but then I was So I was initially disappointed, like, I didn't get to get one. But then we're like, wait, they all sold out. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
Everybody got on there and
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
doing this, like it's working. Like
Yeah.
so I thought that was great. So if you are in another country, there might be other languages available.
Yep.
Still, thought that was fantastic. It just makes you feel good about a company we already kind of like. I mean, we like GameFound, we like Awaken Realms, and I know this War of Mine, I think, is a Portal Games. It's made by a Polish company, and Portal's a big one. Portal's the big one out of Poland. But anyways, I just thought that was fantastic. Wanted to mention it, and thought that was cool. There is going to be a proto spiel in Indianapolis.
Oh, nice.
May
For some reason, I thought that
20th
was Awaken
through the
Realms.
22nd.
Okay.
So if you go to if you look up Protospiel online and you can find the conventions, if that's somewhere close to you, even if you don't have a game to design, if they're just selling like badges for people to go in and play the games,
Be a
it's a
playtester.
good experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Because you're going to see a bunch of games like in various stages of development, right? So if you're one of these people that's like, I only want to see the finished thing, I don't want to mess with it, then this isn't for you. But I love, like, I played that game, like I played Scythe before it was finished, and we were using like ships from Eclipse as our
Nice.
mechs. You know what I mean? And it's like all of the cards were like just glued onto the like magic cards. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
magic
League
lands
kind of
and
thing. Yeah.
yeah, you know. And so it's like I love seeing prototypes and seeing games before
is
they're
amazing.
out, and then you get to see the finished version and
Right.
everything.
And
And
sometimes you get to give valuable feedback, and sometimes I listen too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Sometimes you give unwarranted feedback, and they're like, "Shut up."
also,
More often.
probably more often than not. But it's a really good opportunity. Or if you are an aspiring designer, you're up and coming, you want to get a bunch of eyes on the game, that's a really good place to go. All of those people are there for the same reason. And I would say that when we hosted ours, I felt like we had one here in Northern Indiana a few years ago, pre-COVID. And it was amazing.
It was awesome.
It was really good. And I felt like everybody had a really good time. And everybody got a lot of good feedback and information. So it's just a really cool experience just to be part of the community and help these guys out. Because by going to be a playtester, you're helping them out because you might be the one to break their game and go, oh no, I didn't even think about that, you know. Or you might have a suggestion that then changes what the final version of that game looks like, and you're like,
They weren't going to do that till I showed up.
yeah, that was me. But super cool that that's happening. And I've got one other bit of news
I'm
before we
done.
go to crowdfunding.
Tiny bit of news: the Canvas, the new one, is shipping now, so it's getting out there. Talk to your local game stores if you didn't pre-order it, and get yourself a copy of it. But
There you go.
Yeah, mine just showed up the house yesterday. So.
Good, so I can spend mine in like a month.
Yep.
Also, so the last one I've got is another game coming out this summer because like they're now announcing all the summer releases. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Fire Nation Rising. So this is along the Rising series. So there's like the Harry Potter
the
one,
Thanos Rising. And
Thanos
stuff.
Rising, the Star
Okay.
Wars like Dark Side
Interesting.
Rising.
Nice.
So yeah, you are you're basically all like the famous characters, right? Popular characters from Avatar, and yeah, you're taking on the Fire Nation.
Was it
And
the Fire Lords in the middle?
I think so. I'm
Probably,
waiting
yeah.
to see. I haven't seen like a lot of. I've seen just like some of the art of the cards, and it's all like straight from the cartoon. So
I love that cartoon.
and fingers crossed. I think we're going to be getting a preview copy of that and be able to do a review and check it out. Thanks
cool.
to the kind people at the Op
And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. That's an amazing cartoon.
and not the Shyamalan movie.
Not the Shyamalan one. No. Just go
Well,
watch
that's my favorite movie.
the 3 seasons animated Avatar: Last Airbender.
And this was Dan's last episode.
Yeah.
You're not helping.
mean,
our street cred
What?
at
I'm
all.
a big fan of Ung. How do they say it wrong in the movie?
I didn't see it because
Yeah, I don't know.
I have taste.
They pronounce it wrong. Well, how do they pronounce it in the show?
Which?
The main character guy.
Aang.
Aang. So yeah, throughout the
They call him
entire
Ung.
movie, they
Ung.
call him Ung.
What?
Yeah, you
Did
know the
they
movie
watch
based
it?
on the show. Yeah, they don't even know the guy's name.
So,
Okay, wow. So don't go watch the M. Night Shyamalan one. Go watch the animated one.
And to be fair, we were going to fire Dan way before that.
Right.
More proof line.
All right, guys, let's go and do
Crowdfunding.
Kickstarter,
Kickstarters,
go for it.
crowdfunding.
Yeah,
yeah, I have
Game
2.
Found.
I'm hoping someone talks about one of them.
Yeah, me too.
I let that to you. I put a bunch of time
Yeah,
on the news. So
So first, I'll talk about Hamlet.
this
Okay,
looks cool.
See, this is why I didn't think anyone was going to talk about this one. So
I was looking at this one.
Hamlet,
looked
the
cool.
village building game, is set for a March
A standalone
29th.
expansion?
It's
I
about
hate you.
Shakespeare? Oh.
No, I know, but I did learn something, though. So Hamlet, the village building game, is set for a March 29th end date, so you have till then, by Mighty Boards, who we know from, they publish Excavation Earth.
Like that game a
Yeah,
lot.
that's fun.
Fantastic game. A little too crunchy for me, honestly. I don't know if I'll play it again, but when I played, I was like, "This is great."
Yeah.
Petrichor, which I've never played,
Super-
but is
I've only
maybe
heard good
my
things.
favorite word in the English language. And yes, I've heard only good things from Petrichor. And then so those are the two games they design or they published that we know. And then the designer of Hamlet did Petrichor. He also did The Pursuit of Happiness, which is another game that people love.
Yep,
I have
haven't
not played
but
it.
heard.
And he did And Then We Held Hands, which is another game I've only heard good things
Okay,
about.
yeah, I've heard of that.
It's like a two-person game about you can't talk to each other. And it's about how well you know each other and overcoming obstacles together in a game. Like it's supposed to be really good for like couples. Like
Okay.
it's just like you play this game and you just how well can we work together
Sure.
in this
So Bob and I
peaceful
would nail it.
area.
Either that or break a couple up.
That's true. Which hey, that means you didn't need to be together. So Hamlet is for 1 to 4 players. It has a playtime of 60 to 90 minutes and a regular to deluxe price from 61 to 230. Which some stuff in between. That's all I've written down, and then I'm gonna go off memory here. So Hamlet is a game where there's asymmetric or oddly shaped tiles. Like there's like literally like a half moon that peeks out in a corner, right? And then they're all different, and you are placing them to build out a city that makes sense, and you have to make it make sense because things matter. Oh, so first of all, the thing I learned, a hamlet, you probably know this, is a small village in England that does not have a church. I did not know the church part, right? It specifically is a small village that doesn't have a church. So in Hamlet, you are building out this village that needs to make sense because there are like buildings on the tiles. And so like, let's say you have a blacksmith or something, right? I don't know what they are, but you need to be able to build a resource line with your donkeys. You're using these, they call them donkeyples. You're using these donkeys kind of like God, what's that game where
Is it a supply train or something?
like a supply train where you have to have like a donkey on each tile or something?
Or the Fast Sloths?
Yeah,
I haven't played that
but sure.
actually. But so you might have like a depot over here or like an ore mine over here, and you have to have donkeys help like get them to the blacksmith or whatever like that, right? And so you have to have the roads and stuff all make sense, and like it really comes together and looks really fascinating because everything's odd shaped, so you get this odd shaped town sprawling out, right? But then the main point of the game is you are all building the church, right? So you are getting these buildings working, you're getting the
then it won't
supply
be
lines
Hamlet
gone.
anymore.
I know. Well, yeah. So
Then the game's over.
It's Hamlet, the village building game, because you're turning a hamlet into just a normal village.
I see.
Right. But so a lot of really interesting mechanics here. It looks like there is a cooperative and not cooperative mode, I believe is what I saw on there.
think
And then obviously there is a solo mode because it says 1 to 5 or whatever. But just a lot of very interesting mechanics and a really pretty looking game. I'm interested in that big deluxe $230 thing because it's gotta come with like other games or something because like it comes with a cardboard 3D version of the church that you put together, kind of like Pillars of the Earth, right? But like cardboard, right? Where you're like building it in the middle of the town. It comes with metal coins and it comes with like silk screened meeples and donkey meeples, right? But that doesn't raise the price from 61 to 230.
Right.
So there's got to be something else included in there that I just didn't notice. Like multiple, like maybe that's a retailer pledge with multiple copies that I wasn't paying attention to or something. Anyway, the game looks fantastic. This idea is really cool. And if there is a cooperative mode, because I think there is, I find that a very cool theme. Us working together to build this village and to get our church built. Like
yeah,
I
Dan,
find
there's
that very interesting.
there's a $61. That's the Founders Deluxe
Right.
pledge, right?
Oh, the 61 is the deluxe. That's the lowest one I saw.
And the 230 is the Merchant's pledge.
Right, that makes sense then. So
That's 6
61
copies.
is what you're sitting at.
Yeah, that's way better, and that's really a good price
Or a deluxe?
for a deluxe version.
Deluxe.
Yep.
All right. I got one that I really want to try from Gap Closer Games or
I
Gap
saw that.
Closer.
Mhm.
Illiterati.
That's my second one.
Illiterati.
Yeah, that's
I
why
mean,
I mentioned
I
Hamlet
felt like
because
You knew
I
I
felt
won't
like
talk about that
Spencer was
one.
going to
He's
talk
the
about
word
this
game
one.
guy.
Of course, I love word games. I love words.
this looks so interesting. Someone
does.
in Discord.
Oh my gosh.
So someone
Yeah.
in Discord actually pointed this out. While you're talking, I'll get that name for us.
All right, so this goes until March 25th, so you have a little bit of time. It's a 1 to 5 player game. It's co-op. It's a word game where you are drawing tiles from a bag, and everyone has to make words with all the tiles. If a tile is not in a word, one of those tiles is going to be burned from the game forever, and you can no longer use that letter.
It was Mike. Mike
right,
said
yeah.
he's seen virtually nothing about this, but the concept seems really unique, and he shared it.
It's very unique because there's just so many things going on. For instance, on the tiles, they'll sometimes have these little symbols, and those symbols, I think they call them narrative elements. You are trying to complete 2 books, and each book basically is a requirement. You need to have a word that is
Certain
so
elements.
long that is about animals. And some of them will be like, and it has to have this narrative element in it.
Right, like so the red are little hearts
Yeah.
on the cards, and they represent drama that you're adding to the story, right? And the purple swords are conflicts, the green clouds are tragedies, and the orange compasses are adventures. And so you are trying to make a book, and it says, well, this chapter right here needs to have adventure and drama in it, right?
Yep.
And like it's just what a
Yeah.
cool
Oh,
system.
And I'm glad they use symbols to go with the colors.
Yes.
Correct, yeah.
And then there's the Illiterati, which is kind of like the Illuminati, but their entire purpose is to make the world illiterate. And so at the end of every turn, you look at an Illiterati. I'm going to keep saying that wrong.
That's
an
fine.
Illiterati card that does something. Like one of them will be like, any player who has a word that's only 3 long has to burn 2 letters. And I mean,
That's
it's
pretty cool.
crazy.
And it looks like they stack
They
up,
stack.
like to where like
Yeah,
the
they
first time
proc
one
each other,
card
yeah,
and the
yeah.
second time
Makes it
there's like 2
stronger.
cards or something like that.
yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I watched the how to play video a couple times, and I read the page, and I was like, I don't see how you win. There's
Oh, I know,
so
it
much
looks so
stacked
hard.
against. There's so much stacked against. It's like if you don't like, so you pull that pool of letters, and if you don't use any letters, one of the letters gets burned for good.
Yeah.
It's out of the game for good.
Yeah.
And you're like, how are we gonna use their random letters? How are we all gonna make words using every letter? That doesn't seem possible.
I know.
Like I just
That's
don't-
and you only have 3 minutes to do it.
That's literally me playing. Like that would be like a meme of me playing this game. I'm just saying.
Sure.
I'm not great at word games anyway. I tend to like them, even though I'm bad at them, right? Because I
Right.
find that cool. But like this game, like I'm gonna be sitting there and I'll be like, I got the, you know, with no literary
but
elements.
the thing is,
How are you guys
the
doing?
thing is, it's a co-op game, so you're like the trick. There you go.
yeah, that's true. You give each other
Yeah, you're
letters.
swapping
You can-
letters
you
as
can
you
pass them
go.
around.
And also, there's like a final chapter. If you complete your 2 books, you have to do the final chapter, which is like a massive thing to do. It's $35 for the base game. It's $49 for the deluxe, which is like
Yeah, talking about
wooden
great price
tiles.
deluxe.
It is. Yeah, it's got all sorts of cool things in the deluxe. And it's supposed to ship in April of 2023.
A couple things that I don't know if you mentioned, because I was looking up that thing. So the cards for the game are Dixit sized. They look really nice. There is a stretch goal for a PvP mode because it
Ooh.
is currently just a cooperative real time game. And then Gap Closer Games made Rival Restaurants, who I have heard really good things
Yes,
about,
this was one of the
but I have not played.
Yeah. So one of the Ducks things is it gives you a bonus thing for that game.
Nice.
Did you want to mention that was on?
Oh, is that on crowdfunding?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that was crowdfunding. I thought that was just out.
No, yeah, I saw it on the Kickstarter
Oh
front
my
page.
gosh. Now I gotta look that
Class.
up.
It'd be in,
Munchkin Batman.
Oh my god.
Never mind. Keep it to yourself.
I know, I know. I figured Tim would at least want to mention it because he loves Munchkin so much, and it's Batman.
Well, I mean, I don't hate Munchkin, I guess, so that makes it
That
by
makes you
default
love
that
it.
I love it.
You
automatically.
love it.
It's just in.
If you don't hate that game, it is your favorite game.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Oh, and guess what? It is like made $170,000
What?
off
Of course.
on Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, and the Literati like funded in a short amount of time. It's totally
Yeah.
safe.
Safe.
I got another one.
Yeah. Nope. That's it for me. That was the Illiterati was what I was looking at.
Okay,
Oh.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
have-
so I'll just do Munchkin Batman real quick. It's got a bunch of the artwork in the Munchkin style, typical Batman and Rogues gallery, so on and so forth. A pretty interesting like playboard of like Gotham, you know, and there's like your windows and there's the bat signal and things like that. I mean, it's like regular Munchkin. Get to level 10, you win. The pledge levels. So $50
50.
for the Kickstarter edition, which so you get a dice pack, blank cards, unlock stretch goals, blah blah blah. $50, a lot.
Prices
That's a
for
little high
Munchkin.
for a Munchkin.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then there's Munchkin Batman and Crazy Cooks for
So
$80.
more than
So that's another Munchkin game, right? Then there's $100 retail. You know what though? Like I think that Munchkin Batman, I'm not gonna pay $50 for it. But if I saw it for retail, you know, and it's like $20, like most Munchkin games
Yeah,
are, or
20 or
whatever,
30.
If you
Yeah,
saw it
that's
at
fine.
a Goodwill,
I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up. Munchkin Marvel is actually pretty good.
Sure.
Like really pretty good.
I
And
I just love the fact that I have still never played Munchkin and never will.
Oh.
And I just
wait,
yeah.
why never will?
Because then I can live this joke of making fun of you for liking it, even though I have no reference.
Well, see, here's the thing now: now you're playing D&D.
Right.
You kind of want to play Munchkin
Yeah.
because there's all these really great
Yeah.
inside jokes for
There's so
Munchkin.
many.
Yeah, but like, are the inside jokes worth it, or is this inside joke worth it? And I would just rather have this one.
I mean, sure.
Do we have time for one more, or are we going to wrap it up?
If you can be brief.
Okay. Solar 175 by Cogito Ergo Meeple. Goes till March 31st. It's a 1 to 5 player Euro legacy game. It's set in space. It's bag building, area control, worker placement. You can expand. You're mining. You're building. You're doing an interesting election mechanic. So you're trying to manipulate the government.
Yeah.
Checks out.
The thing that I liked about this one, I mean, it has really amazing art. It's a legacy game that doesn't get rid of cards. It only adds cards.
Interesting.
So it's completely replayable. You can just reset it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
It's $88 for the base game, $110 for the deluxe, and if you want all the expansions, it'll add a stock market, which is a
Okay.
whole different thing, and that's $122, I think.
Well, there you go.
I don't remember. I got it written
Not
down. I can't
terrible.
read my handwriting.
Depends on what everything comes.
Right.
What all comes in.
It
off
looked
the deluxe and
it looked
everything.
very fun.
Yeah.
It looked very crunchy, but check it out.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, that was our crowdfunding, and that is gonna wrap it up for us today. Fun fact, episode note, right? This is episode 99. I guess
Yeah.
it's bears mentioning. Not sure what we're gonna do for the 100th because you gotta land on like a weird time
Yeah.
for scheduling with some stuff because I'm gonna be out of town when
So
we
am
would
I.
technically film the 100th, and I kind of feel like I should be here for that one. So we'll see what's up.
It's time for a new age.
That's right. It's the dawn of Aquarius.
What's
younger
happening?
age.
What's happening? You're making Bob leave?
Yeah.
He's
What?
older than me.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Barely. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Always make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends. Join the Discord, Facebook. If you have suggestions or something you want to see us do for our 100th episode, leave it in here. I mean, it might just be like we do
comment
it
here or in the Discord.
We might just do like a top 10 or 20 of our favorite games or something.
Hash some of that.
It's changed since
It
Yeah,
probably
that's true.
has.
last time. I mean, mine definitely has.
Yeah.
There's definitely some new games
Yeah, yeah.
around the top, hanging around the top. But let us know what you think. What would you like to see? Always check out our other channels that we've got on the Game Talk Network. We've got Miniatures Rundown. We've got Pokemon Rundown, Magic the Gathering Rundown. That's all the rundowns, right?
I'm not
so.
going to give you a hint.
Okay, fair enough. Also, the board game rundown is the most important one,
Yeah.
but you're already here. Check out our friends at the Board Game Mechanics. Jason and Katie do a pretty okay job most of the time.
Most time.
Jason's got a really active YouTube channel, always putting out all kinds of reviews, old games, new games, all kinds of stuff. Katie's actually been writing, doing like some blog stuff,
Okay.
and she has a really good sort of breakdown of the new wins of Libertalia
Oh, okay.
versus Libertalia.
Nice.
So if you were curious about that, or if you have the new edition and had never played the old one, or vice versa, it gives you a really good comparison going through and kind of explaining it. And I was teasing. I sent her a message and I was like, "This is like just hearing you talk to me, like the way that she writes."
Oh, sure.
So if you're familiar with her and you like her, unlike Dan,
Her delivery.
and everything.
Yeah,
you,
so every sentence ends with Dan sucks.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
So it's a huge shout out to you, the whole thing. But yeah, it was a really nice article, quick read, but I enjoyed it. Gave me a lot of good insight on it, so I appreciated that. So, anything else, guys?
Nah,
That's
dude.
Not it. All right, for the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I've been Spencer.
I'm a Dan.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.